So I guess we won't have to think of a different voice for Melly now. Thank God. You know, vomiting right after you've made love to a girl is kinda rude. I'm feeling pretty unappreciated here. I don't have anything to say. English was never my strong point, and the words have all gone. I sit there, dazed, staring at Melly. Belle? I don't know. I have no idea who this girl is anymore. She looks so much like Melly, but has none of her mannerisms. She shares every single one of her scars, her birthmarks, even her bitten fingernails, but doesn't have a stammered speech, a hanging head, a crippling social anxiety. Maybe it's a coping mechanism. You ever thought of that, you fuckwit? Who is this? What's going on? You, what on earth are you? I already told you, silly. I'm a spirit. Belle grins smugly, like a cat who's just caught a mouse. But she isn't Belle. Melly. My only daughter, my little girl. What did you do? What did you do to my daughter? Oh, so this is my fault, is it? I think the real question is, what did you do to her, Robin? Fuck. She called you out on this, man. Yeah, there was a lot of that. I can still feel it. I'm kind of sore now. Ooh, I feel the bile rising back to my throat again. I thought I already vomited up whatever I'd eaten over the last 24 hours. I guess not. My throat burns, my mouth tastes foul. Despite being sick, I can still remember the feeling of those kisses against my lips. Her mouth was warm. I'm ashamed to admit it, but it felt good. Oh god, oh god, oh god. You've probably worked this out already, but... Belle turns, her skirt fluttering around her thighs. She holds her hands behind her back in a deceptively demure way, a sweet little smile playing across her face. I was kind of lying to you before when I said this human form was all my own. It wasn't entirely original after all. Oh, so she's just possessing her? Ah, it's fine then, come on. I had to cut a few corners here and there, you see? So you stole my daughter's... More or less. More or less, she says, accompanying her words with a casual shrug. More or less, as though it doesn't matter, as though it's no big deal. Wait, what happened to the sprained leg then? Really, what happened? Oh, maybe that's why she's so tired all the time. It's not insomnia, it's at night she gets stolen by a spirit. Fuck. I guess my theory that it is his daughter is still half true, you know? I was too weak to assume a human form on my own. I used to be able to do that, back in the good old days, but a few things went kind of wrong. I'm not the most popular of spirits out there, you see. I got into 1 or 2 fights. I lost most of my powers. From that moment on, I couldn't really do anything more than low-level possession. I had to attach my conscience to some kind of living creature, or I'd die. That's when I decided, why not cats? Cats were easier for me to possess than humans back then, and anyway, I like cats. Who doesn't like cats? They're so regal. It's no wonder the Egyptians revered them as gods. They come and go as they please and do whatever they want. So, a cat. I went through a few cats actually. They don't live all that long, so I had to keep swapping. It was kind of fun for the first 10 years or so, but after that, inertia really takes its toll on you. Nobody talks to cats, and if they do, they don't expect an answer. Since cats can't talk, I couldn't exactly respond either. My vocal cords weren't cut out for it. I felt like I was going insane. Maybe I did. I know I already told you this, but I think I really would have lost my mind if you hadn't tried to save me back then. Gave me a reason to keep going, to keep living. That was when I decided to get my hands, not that I had any hands, on a human body as quickly as possible. But why did you choose my Melly? Yeah, why not Arabella Waite or something? Well, why did I? I wonder. Belle smiles through Melly's mouth, distorting it into a coy little grin that makes my stomach turn. There were a few reasons. I won't bore you by giving too technical an explanation, so I'll try to gloss over them. Firstly, she lived close to you. I decided, since you were the one who saved me, I wanted to stick by your side and thank you for your help. I don't like being in debt to other people, you know. Secondly, she was depressed. Depressed people are always easier to possess, since they put up less of a fight. I guess they don't value their lives all that much. Poor Melody was so conflicted, and she hated herself so very much. Having a father with such high expectations didn't help. She was living from day to day because she had to. She was not a real human being, but a shadow. She was only doing what society demanded. Even so, she was miserable and hated her life. She wanted out of it, but she was too afraid to commit and kill herself. Not after what happened last time. I must have seemed like an angel to her when I made my presence known. I think she was quite happy about it. I took the baton, so to speak, and let her bow out of her own life for a short while. I was just picking up the slack, so I don't think I was doing anything wrong. Not really. Not until I began to approach you. Melly started to realize something was up there. She tried to fight back, but I don't think she'll be voicing her complaints any longer. What do you mean? After what happened, who on earth would ever want to face reality ever again? Who could live in a world where they were raped by their own father? I didn't know. You might not have done, but Melly did. She was being a real pain. I just ignored her though. I mean, why should I have to stop because she didn't like it? It made me feel good. So this happened just now? So what? What are you saying? You mean Melly, she's gone? I don't think she'll be coming back, so... Man, he fucked his daughter so hard she died. Weird. Belle smiles, evidently pleased with herself, and stretches her arms high above her head. Her joints click, the bones sliding against one another. I guess that means this body really is all mine. I finally managed to become a real human again. But why? You said I tried to save you. I nearly died because of you, and you repay me by killing my own daughter. Now, don't be so melodramatic. I was trying to be nice. What? I didn't have to introduce myself to you. I could have possessed Melly slowly without you being any the wiser. It would have made this a lot easier actually, and you never would have suspected a thing. I changed my mind though. I thought it would be dishonest, and I wasn't lying when I said I loved you, Robin. I really did want to see you again, and I didn't want to do it as your daughter. I had no choice but to speak to you through her body, but I wanted you to see me for who I really am. Or will she change form or something? Is this like an illusion just for me? I wanted to be me. I've only acted the way I have out of love. You just can't understand it because you're a human. You humans can't live as long as we do, so you might never be able to understand, but I really did want to make you happy. What do you mean? How do you think doing that would make me happy? I was doing you a favor, wasn't I? A favor? Yes, I mean, you don't love your daughter, do you? That isn't true. I love her a lot. She's my Melody. But you haven't had a proper conversation with her in years. Melody told me, you told me, you're like strangers. Maybe we didn't speak to one another much, but you can try and argue however you want, but it doesn't change the facts. You can't have loved her, or you would have realized who I was straight away. She's true, and right about that, you know? It's really weird that he didn't. I bite down on my lower lip, my face blanching. She's right. How can I call myself Melody's father, when I never realized this whole time Belle was interacting with me through her body? She was a disappointment. You wanted a daughter, but Melody wasn't the daughter you wanted. She was tone-deaf, clumsy, and so very, very shy, just like the ugly duckling from the fairy tale. I helped turn her into a beautiful swan. You said it yourself. You think I'm beautiful, don't you? Come on, slap her or something. Belle leans forward and takes hold of my face between her ice-cold hands. I only notice how the significance of her poor, shorn fingernails bitten down to the quick through years upon years of stress, anxiety, and constant worries. Those fingernails, chewed and mangled like the surface of an alien planet, don't belong to her. They aren't Belle's fingernails, the fingernails of a monarch, Marie Antoinette. They're Melody's. Belle's whole body belongs to Melody. Every single one of Melly's memories, her thoughts and feelings, are engraved into Belle's skin like Egyptian hieroglyphics in the side of a rock. But I couldn't read any of those signs. I never even bothered to try. Is that because I don't love my daughter? Did I ever love her? This whole time, was I just deluding myself? You should thank me, Robin. Melody should too. I was able to turn your disappointment of a daughter into somebody you can be proud of, somebody you can love, and you do love me, you told me yourself. I wasn't lying either. I love you too, Robin. I love you so, so much, more than Melody ever did. I don't understand what you're so upset about. It's too late to develop a guilty conscience. I love you, and you love me. And isn't that enough? I think it is. I've never been happier than I am right now. I want you to be happy too. Well, how? Fuck, is this it already? There's no conclusion? No him breaking down? By the way, Abby Hime is the author I talked about. I think it's a woman. And Dark Sin did the CG art. Okay, it was really nice, Dark Sin. I enjoyed it very, very much. Man, you have talent. I like the simplified style, really. Music, Mock-Off. I also like the music. It wasn't that many tracks, but they were still fitting most of the time. Sound effects. Were there even sound effects in there? Or maybe in the menu, I don't know. Brushes, Obsidian Dawn, and fonts. Oh, okay. I have to look into these fonts, you know, for my thumbnail. Proofreaders. They did an okay job. There was some things here and there that didn't fit, but... Man. Thank you for making me censor the credits. Fuck. Oh, boy. I don't want this to be over. Okay, it continues on. I guess this is the epilogue or something now. I don't think I slept a single wink last night. I tossed and turned, rumpling the duvet about me as so Sally moaned and mumbled at me to knock it off because her feet were getting cold, but I didn't fall into the land of dreams. Even if I had managed it, I doubt I would have had any dreams. More like nightmares. Pale limbs, long and slender. Sooty black hair. Bright green eyes. Please, not the fucking CG of her getting railed. Belle. Or is it Melody? Did any of that really happen? I don't know. Thoughts waltz around my head, but my body is slow and sluggish to process them. I can't keep up with the rapid movements of my mind. My head is filled with too many thoughts, the neural pathways inside my brain congested, but I'm so exhausted, it's all I can do to keep my eyes open. My eyelids feel heavy, as though weighed down by lead. And the cheerful chirping of the birds greets me at around 6 AM. I want nothing more than to smother myself with the pillow. They've never sounded more shrill or insistent, not even on days when I have to wake up early and go to work. It's cold outside, but it feels far too hot and stuffy in the bed. Maybe it's because of Sally. Her body is soft and warm, filled with blood vessels and slowly digesting pork pie. That's what we had on our picnic yesterday in Whitby. We had to eat in the car, given the torrential rain. I ate, my throat convulsing, while my neck was marked with Belle's insistent fervent kisses. I hear Sally rising from the bed at around 7:30. She yawns and sighs, stretches and begins her daily routine, divesting herself of a white, almost childlike nightgown and fishing her favorite blue jeans from the wardrobe. Sally is one of those strange people who, after taking off her clothes at the end of the day, hangs them back up in the wardrobe. She doesn't scatter garments over the floor and tuts at me whenever I do it. Don't even think about it, mister. That's what she says. I listen to Sally getting dressed, hiding from humanity beneath the blankets. She's quiet, perhaps for my benefit. Maybe she thinks I'm still asleep. She doesn't want to inconvenience me. Is it because she loves me? But that makes it even worse. It would be easy if she hated me. If she finds out what happened yesterday, she really would hate me. Not that she would believe it. It's unimaginable. I don't know if I believe it myself. I have to censor this. but I can still remember the slick, wet sensation of Belle's inside. I can remember how the walls of her vagina squeezed my erection. I remember how she made me come in white fluid that splattered the pale insides of her thighs. It's far too detailed to be a mere wet dream, and much too disturbing. I haven't had wet dreams since I was a teenager. My self-control isn't that bad. I curl up on myself like a cat in a basket, trying to catch at least a few minutes of sleep, but it isn't to be. How can I sleep in this state? In any event, it's far too bright. Sunshine filters in through a crack in the curtains. The birds are still chirping. Don't they have anything better to do? Probably not. They are birds after all. That would be expecting too much. I can't sleep. Maybe I'll never be able to sleep again. So I get up. What else can I do? Get up like it's any other day. I dress myself automatically, though my fingers tremble, and pad over to the bathroom, brush my teeth, comb my hair, shave my face. The regularity is almost soothing. Almost. There's something sickening about it, like I'm trying to turn my back on the truth. How can I stand to look at my own reflection in the mirror? How can I? Fuck. I walk downstairs on trembling legs. I have to grip the banister tight. I'm worried one wrong move will make me fall and I'll end up battered and broken on the floor. That might be preferable to what will happen if anybody finds out about last night. Never mind about Sally. What would the papers say? Primary school teacher rapes own daughter. It doesn't sound great. It sounds terrible. I feel terrible. Yeah, she has fucking long hair. When she's Melody. Good morning, Dad. Wait a minute. Dad? I stare, slack-jawed, eyes open. My expression is so exaggerated, I probably look like a cartoon character. When I turn the familiar handle on the kitchen door, now rendered unfamiliar after the events of last night, I never expected to encounter this. Melody is sitting at the kitchen table. My Melody. My daughter, Melody Hawkins. It's her. It's undeniably her. Her long black hair falls about her bare shoulders and a small smile flits across her lips. Her eyes are brown. Her eyes have always been brown. It is true, she bears a striking resemblance to Belle. They have the same skinny limbs, the same slight stature, even the same bitten fingernails, but there are a few key differences so intrinsic between the pair they can't possibly be the same. They can't. Melody has Sally's nose and lips but my eyes. That's because she's my little girl. My little girl, who hasn't come down to eat breakfast with me in, oh, so long I can't even remember. Months maybe. A whole year? Not since Sally and I found her in the bathroom, curled up inside the tub. Her eyes were open, but just barely, and her chest rose and fell so subtly, she could have been a corpse. She was so cold, limp and lifeless, I almost thought she was a corpse. Melody tried to kill herself 1 year ago. Sally and I called an ambulance. We went to the hospital with her. Sally was crying. I was too surprised to do anything much other than swear under my breath, my knuckles clenched together. I probably looked like I was going to hit somebody. The doctors pumped her stomach. She was sick for a few weeks and had to take some time off school, but she was fine in the end. As right as rain, one of the nurses said. A smiley woman with caramel-colored hair. I liked that nurse a lot. She made my awkward trips to the hospital almost bearable. Melody certainly never made an effort. She just sat in the hospital bed silently, like a statue, never saying a word. She seemed more interested in staring at the wall than my face. It was almost like I had wronged her, which was ridiculous. She was the one who tried to kill herself. But maybe she was tired of making an effort. She must have been making an effort for a long, long time, until it all became too much. She wanted to kill herself, and I never even realized. After that, she became something of a recluse. She was always hiding away in her room. She never came down for breakfast. She walked herself to school. She graced us with her presence at the dinner table for 5 or 6 minutes per evening. That is, when she bothered to come down at all. Even then, she never lifted her head, never looked at my face. Can it really be? After all this time, is she really back? Melody. Hey, Dad. Melody tips her head to one side. The sunlight shines in through the window, catching her hair so it glistens. For once, she isn't wearing one of those awful oversized hoodies she favors. She's dressed in something soft and feminine that actually flatters her figure, and it's displaying a bit of skin too. I always knew she could look cute if she tried. She just stopped trying. I know I've worried you a little this last year, and I am really sorry. I was going through a hard time, but Mom spoke to me yesterday, after we got back from the trip. She said that you were trying really hard, and it made me think about some things. I thought, maybe I didn't appreciate everything you did for me, and I know it can be kind of difficult. I don't think it'll make everything better, and it might be a little hard, but for what it's worth, She glances up at me beneath her eyelashes shyly, so demure it almost takes my breath away. She's far more beautiful than I ever dared to imagine. She became so beautiful in such a short space of time, and I missed it. I never noticed because I didn't pay attention. I'm sorry. It's fine, Melly. I mean, I cough. Obviously, things aren't fine. I don't know if they'll be fine for a while, and it would be delusional to say that they are, but... Robin? Sally rests a hand on my shoulder. She gives me a warning look. You're saying too much again? Yes, sorry. Melody laughs. She actually laughs. It's a light, gentle sound, soft and musical, like a chiming bell. Bell. And what do you think of Melody's new dress? It's pretty, isn't it? Oh yes, I was just about to say it looks... familiar. Disturbingly so. Didn't I see that dress last night? I took Melly out shopping a few weeks ago. She's been wearing nothing but sweaters and hoodies lately, and, well, though she's never bothered with her appearance too much, she is a girl. I thought she might appreciate some new clothes. If you're in a rut, changing your wardrobe can help. It's rather simple, but human brains aren't overly complex. Sometimes we just need a change of pace. You're right, Mom. I feel a lot better now. I knew you would. You just had to trust me. Wait, so did you pick this dress, Sally? I thought it was cute, and it was on sale. Isn't it a bit revealing? Oh, don't be silly. Melody's a teenager. She's old enough to show a little bit of skin. She's not a little girl anymore. I was a little embarrassed to wear it at first. I don't usually dress like this, but Mom was so insistent, and since she paid for it, I thought I might as well. And I was right. Sally smiles proudly, one hand on her hip. You look lovely, Melly. All the boys will be after you if you go out like this. Well, I don't know if I want that. It might be a bit much. Let's take it one step at a time. You don't need to be going to cocktail parties just yet. Well, I'm old enough to drink. I'm not old enough to drink, and I don't think Dad would appreciate if I started dating. You just have to get used to it. It's healthy to have 1 or 2 boyfriends at your age. I don't think you've had nearly enough life experience. That's what Joan Fowler says. Why do they always refer to her with her full name? Why don't they say Mrs. Fowler or something? She's right about that. You spent too long locked up inside your room. Well, I still feel a little self-conscious, but if it will make you too happy, I can try to make an effort. That's really all we are asking, Melly dear. I'm so happy you could feel it better. I really have, and it's all thanks to you two. It's because you never stopped supporting me, no matter what. Of course, we are parents, Melly. I know, but over the past few weeks, I think you've done more for me than parents ever would. I know I might have been difficult at times, and it's not possible to rewrite the past, but we can try to start afresh. We can start over. Oh, Melly, do you really mean that? Yeah, I do. I really do. I love you, Mom. And... Melody looks at me in askance, her hair spilling over her shoulders. Dark black against white ivory, just like the keys of a piano. I really do love you. Dad. Fuck! fuck, she's changed into Belle. No, my daughter. I guess she's gone. I mean, that was just Belle having a giggle, playing a little prank on me, making me think all was fine. No, I did fuck her last night. Oh, the menu screen changed. It's Melody now. Oh, come on, shall we take a look at the extras? Author's notes. Oh. Oh. I guess I'll read that, you know? It's the least I can do for this really good game. I really enjoyed it. It was 3 hours now, I think. Just about 3 hours, maybe a little bit more, since I'm kind of a slow reader sometimes. Anyway, hello everybody and thank you for reading Sweetest Monster. If you're here, that means you finished reading the ending. And I wonder what you think of it. But you survived, and that's the most important thing. This visual novel has been in production for a while. I wrote the script in August 2015, then spent a very long sitting on it, mostly because I was worried what people would think. This story is quite different from anything else I've written, and I also think it's meaner to the reader. At the time I wrote this, the ends like Nekopara and the Sakura series were, and still are, the most popular best-selling VNs on Steam. As such, I decided I should try something fanservice-y too. I mean, that's what sells. However, I don't think the story ended up too overtly fanservice-y. The atmosphere throughout is pretty creepy, with lots of washed out color palettes, a gloomy rainy setting and eerie music. My general aim was to write a VN with fanservice elements, but whose primary goal was to unsettle the reader, rather than titillate them. As the VN medium is quite full of fanservice stories already, I thought it would be interesting, if I was going to write a fanservice VN, to make it a bit different. As such, the story feels kind of punishing towards the readers, because the twist exists more or less to make you feel bad, and to make the fanservice scenes that preceded uncomfortable in hindsight. Many visual novels do this actually, and these are the best ones, to be honest. I like a good twist. A good twist is all I need in a game, really. If games drop their twist, I drop the game. Looking at you, Silence of the Sleep. I know there are many more VNs out there that couple more graphic age scenes with more disturbing contents. Things like Saya no Uta and Kiku Kugai come to mind. I know Saya no Uta, but I don't know Kiku Kugai. I have to look it up. If it's just like this, I might enjoy it. So this story isn't that unique at all, and it's actually quite tame compared to a lot of JVNs. Even so, I hope the story and the characters are well written enough for it to be affecting. If the story was able to make you feel uncomfortable, I would be very happy. Okay. Let's read the inspiration as well. One of the biggest inspirations of this VN was Nekopara. That's probably obvious given the heroine is a cat girl, but there's a bit more to it. In Nekopara it stated Chocolat is lovey-dovey towards Kashu because he nursed her back to health when she was sick. Vanilla, being Vanilla, loves Chocolat and willingly engages in kawaii 3P action because it will make her sister happy. And she's fond of Kashu as he also took care of her. While I was reading, I thought, this is cute enough in a fictional story, but what if you applied it to real life? What if a person decided to devote their entire being to another because they happened to help them out once? Wouldn't that seem a little too intense? As such, I tried to present Belle's obsession with Robin as discomforting rather than charming, and maybe even selfish. While Robin is flattered about the attention, he's also uneasy and would have been a lot happier in the long run if Belle just left him alone. Another big inspiration for the story was the Korean movie Old Boy, directed by Park Chan-wook. I won't go into details as to how exactly it was an inspiration, but if you've seen the movie it should be apparent. I'll also recommend it because it's very good. That's true. It is a very good movie. Finally, I took some of Belle's personality from Sylvia Plath's poem Lady Lazarus. Lady Lazarus is a rather dense and complicated poem that is probably about repeat suicide attempts, but the final line of it stuck out ever since I read it. And I eat men like air. I was always fond of this line and wanted to try writing a femme fatale who embodies this general sentiment for a while. I guess this sounds kind of pretentious though, haha XD. Themes. How long is this? Oh my god. Talking about themes in the story is a little hard since they're all over the place and not 100% cohesive, but I'll give it a shot. The main theme, I suppose, is about the presentation of fanservice in VNs. I feel like a lot of fanservice is included in VNs for the sake of the reader to make them feel good, but often there's no plot relevance for it. In fact, some fanservice VNs on Steam don't have plots at all, they're just excuses to string images of scantily clad anime girls together. Moreover, in fanservice VNs, girls will generally trip and fall over to expose their panties by accident, get tangled up in wires out of adorable stupidity, or get walked in on while changing in the bathtub, because that's just how life is in fun and happy VN land, I guess. I wanted Belle to have a bit more agency to that. All fanservice scenes in the story occur because of her. She's supposed to feel like the one in control, and she instigates everything of her own free will. That's actually a really good point, and I really enjoyed it. It really felt like she was trying to seduce you. However, she's only able to be in control because she's taking agency away from another character, Melody. Melody should be a lot more important than she is, but she never gets her own spoken dialogue, and she doesn't even have a sprite. This isn't because of budget reasons, I swear. It's supposed to represent how little impact Melody has in Robin's life and how little he pays attention to her. She's his daughter, but they never speak one-to-one in the story, and if they had, it probably wouldn't have ended so poorly. The typical brand of fanservice you get in a lot of VNs is appealing, I think, because it makes cute female characters powerless. If we assume a lot of popular VNs on Steam are fantasies made primarily to appeal to male egos, the male MC is the one in control, and the story universe characters exist solely for the sake of the man, or the sakes of shrewd companies who are making bank by selling this stuff? I think the latter. The "oh no, I have tripped and now you can see my panties" brand of fanservice has always felt a bit voyeuristic to me, and I think there are some power play elements involved. So I wanted to write something that feels like it would be a male fantasy, but disempower the male lead. However, one of the main female characters, Melody, is also disempowered, and unlike the cute and airheaded heroines of many fanservice VNs, she ends up suffering because of it. Maybe the theme is just, let's make everybody miserable then. That sounds about right. Names. Okay, the character names were all chosen for specific reasons since I had a clear image of what I wanted to portray. I think they are a little on the nose though. First up is the protagonist, Robin. I wanted to name him after a bird since the main heroine is a cat girl and cats eat birds. Tough luck, Robin. Ah, okay. Also, Robins are kind of small and defenseless. His last name, Hawkins, was also clearly taken from a bird, though I guess hawks are a bit more intimidating. Also, it's the last name of the protagonist in Treasure Island, and I get the feeling Robin would have been into boys' adventure stories when he was younger. Thank God the sentence didn't end here. I get the feeling Robin would have been into boys. Next is Sally. Her name doesn't tie into any theme and isn't representative of anything. I just wanted a name that would be easy to spin into cute nicknames like Sal or Sally Pally. I took some inspiration from the romantic poet Coleridge, who nicknamed his wife Sarah Sally Pally. If you've read my previous visual novel Asphyxia, you might already know I'm quite fond of my romantic poets. Remember Asphyxia, I'll have to look into that. After that is Melody. Her name is pretty simple. It represents Robin's desire for her to be musically inclined, but she continually gets referred to as a diminutive nickname in the story, Melly, because she was unable to fulfill those expectations. Having a name that reminds you constantly that you failed your father's expectations must be quite a downer. Belle also points out during the narrative how ill-fitting her name is. And then there's the main female character, Belle. I wanted to give her a cute name that would suit a pet cat, but also one that could plausibly be used for a girl. Also, Belle is a musical sound, which ties into the recurring motif of music. In that sense, maybe it's a bit sad that Melody, whose name is more explicitly music-related, should end up being upstaged by Belle, whose name is more tangentially linked. What the fucking word? I know what a tangent is, it's just... it made me trip, sorry. Characters. The main characters in Sweetest Monster would be Robin. He was intended to be somewhat similar to the male protagonist you'll see in many VNs, sarcastic and cynical, who occasionally make dry jokes. However, he's a lot older than most VN protagonists and is meant to be more world-weary. I wrote Robin partially as a challenge to myself as I'm not comfortable with writing male characters, particularly adult males. Robin's not meant to be an entirely likable character, I suppose, his worst trait being how neglectful he is towards Melody. At the same time, however, he isn't supposed to be a bad person. He says and does a lot of callous things, but it's not entirely deliberate. He's not a malicious character, he's thoughtless. Sally, meanwhile, was a bit tricky to write. I wanted the reader to understand why Robin feels infuriated with her, so she's often the one who instigates arguments, and some of her accusations are off base. like a suspicion he's having an affair with Arabella. However, I didn't want Sally to be an entirely dislikable character or seem too unreasonable, and it would be too easy to paint her as a nagging wife with no redeeming features, especially as the story is told from Robin's perspective. Therefore, Sally is shown to be a caring mother who loves Melody a lot, and she loves Robin too, though the monotony of their marriage has taken some of the initial spark away, and they while most of the time away arguing. As for Melody, I think she has some depth to her despite receiving no spoken dialogue. She's depressed and has social anxiety and tried to commit suicide and failed before the beginning of the game. She keeps herself to herself, rarely interacts with her family and doesn't have many friends at school. She feels misunderstood and isolated, yet continues to isolate herself because she worries about burdening others. And her relationship with Robin is very strained. Robin regards her depression as a personal failure. Oh, okay. This only happened because I'm a bad father. I thought he was blaming her. And feels guilty when he's around her. Melody in turn realizes that her father is disappointed in her and similarly feels guilty when she spends time with him. I wanted to try and write a story about a depressed character from the point of view of somebody who does not have depression and who cannot understand it. It's kinda like Downfall, isn't it? As Robin cannot fix the issue and feels out of his depth, his ultimate solution is to ignore it. But this makes their relationship even worse. Kinda like Downfall. Last of all, there's Belle. She came from my desire to write a very outgoing and vivacious female character. I wanted her to be energetic, maybe even a bit of a Genki girl, but there's also something unsettling about her. She's possessive, pushy, and doesn't respect other people in the slightest. Though she has a great deal of affection for Robin and threatens to harm the others around him, I would term her as a yandere. She isn't the kind of character who would snap under pressure and try to cause others physical harm. In the end, her feelings for Robin are also questionable. Though she likes him, it's unclear if she loves him or if she's just playing around to alleviate her own boredom. I guess she's a cat. Despite the fact Belle is easily the most morally bankrupt character I've ever written, I'm quite fond of her. I think she plays off of Robin's more deadpan delivery well, and their dialogue together was fun to write. Indeed it was. Let's take a quick look at the music box. It was only 8 songs. I like this one. This was in the school and stuff, right? A little bit more upbeat. That was also nice. This song somehow reminded me of Fate's Day Night. I think there's a similar song in there. Oh yeah, this one was also very good. Very fitting. And the name, also very fitting in a monologue. Oh, childhood? Okay, that's fucking creepy. Let's change it to something upbeat. Oh, it changes back. Okay. This is the art gallery. There weren't very many sprites, were there? Or can I scroll or something? No. But this is the perfect tool to make some thumbnails. Anyway, no, I changed back from that because I don't want to censor anymore. Let's return and see the main menu. Wow, I really enjoyed this. It felt really good after Silence of the Sleep. It wasn't as long. It was interesting. It kept me going. To be honest, I've recorded several parts a day because I was so interested in the story and how it ended. Especially reading the Steam reviews, where all I really did read was there was going to be a twist. And also the Steam achievements were also kind of giving it away there was going to be a twist. I didn't know what the twist was, but it surprised me positively. Yeah, it was weird and certainly kind of sickening. But I guess I'm used to worse things because I've read so many VNs already and worse things happen in there. That some father-daughter action when she's possessed by a spirit is kinda up there, but not quite that high up there. Anyway, I enjoyed it. I hope you did too, just in case you're still listening to me rambling. I don't know what I'll play next. Oh, no, yes, I do know what I'll play next. Just in case this shouldn't change in the next few days when I'll start it, I will play Tokyo Dark. which is also a visual novel point and click kind of game. I don't know how long, I don't know how good. I just bought it on a whim. It looked good. I read a review on RPG site, I think, and while it has some flaws, it's supposed to be good. Anyway, thank you again. Thank you and bye.